Hello, my name is Rich Pasakarnis, and welcome to another chapter of Eastern Outdoors. For the past 7 years, I have been filming wildlife on my trail cameras, and the coyote is probably the most talked about predator we have in this country, so we'll dedicate this chapter to the coyote. Let's look how naturally cautious he is. I nicknamed this girl Up. She's always looking up. For years she's been looking up. She went away after all of that. Didn't even eat anything. That one was trying to actually crawl below the camera rays. Now here's a coyote from 7 years ago. Same behavior. Watch how carefully he takes the meat. Taking every bit of courage to grab that. And once he has it, he just trots off. Now, here's a young juvenile. He hasn't been taught that much. He hasn't been around long. He's walking through the woods. He finds a big pile of apples. Bonanza, right? He starts to eat, and then he notices the camera. Now he sees it, and he just isn't quite sure what it is. Looking around, he doesn't know. He stopped eating. He's more concerned with his survival than the food. Here's that up behavior again. Is that looking up behavior. This is a different coyote. And you just saw cars go by. That doesn't bother him at all. They're leery. They're naturally leery when there's food around. More looking up behavior. I think this is Up's kid. I think so. Now see that big chunk of meat hanging off the string right in front of him? He's not even interested in that. Why? It's not natural. Much too smart for that. There's a piece of meat stuck in that tree trunk. He's not even going there. He's looking around. No, don't like the scene. He's leaving. So now we see how cautious the animal is. Let's see what kind of an eater he is. To survive in the wildlife, you have to be able to eat what nature provides. Here's an old carcass, shows what scavengers they are. This coyote just rips a rib bone right off the rib cage. Here's another coyote eating the head of a deer. Again, being cautious about eating the head of a deer. And they love mice. Mice is probably their favorite food. Oh, there we go. Well, if he can catch them, I think this guy got away. And if he's not eating mice, then how about a piece of meat nailed to a tree? Let's see if he's going to eat that chunk of venison that is nailed chest high on a tree with the camera right next to it. He's not afraid of the camera. He's just leery of the meat. But he grabs it and he runs. What's this guy eating? Oh yeah, I put down a raccoon and a lid of peanut butter. He went for the peanut butter. Here's our juvenile back with the apples. He checked out the camera. No threat to him. Time to eat. Pretty coat on that animal. Pretty golden color. He probably 20-25 pounds. I'd say 4 to 5 months old. On his own. Natural instinct is usually to get a good piece of meat and go off away from any danger and eat that. That's just what he's doing with a nice ripe apple. Taking it off to the side away from the pile. Now I put some meat in a little tunnel. And not only will they eat everything, they'll eat it quick. Look at that big piece of meat went right down. And when they're real hungry, they'll pick at fur and try to get the meat in between it. Look how easily he spits the fur out without getting any stuck in the mouth. I took some pork fat and put it on little pieces of wood. If he's got it, he's going to eat wood to survive. He tries to anyway. I think that was the wrong kind of wood there. He doesn't want to eat that. He tried, but he spits it out. Okay, I picked out some highlights from future shows. I hope you like them. This is called Climbers. You know how long it took that coyote to go up in that tree? We'll see that someday. And finally, she gets the courage to go up into the tree. Look at the hesitation with the leg. It's just not where she naturally belongs, up in a tree. She wants to go up there. There's a piece of meat up there, and she's a little clumsy because they're not used to climbing trees. But here she goes. She gets up in the tree, but what happens? A male comes by. And as you'll hear now, he makes her scream. Watch the ear at the bottom right. He's pinning her down. Listen. All right. I also made a coyote scrape. This young male is confused. I put coyote pee in the middle of that, and he's looking for some signs of another animal around. Can't find it, he's out of there. This is my friend Dances with Coyotes. He's been around a while. He eats like a coyote, and I'm sure he's met up with them more than once, as you can tell by his missing ear and his voracious appetite for raw venison. I haven't seen Dances with Coyotes in a year now. I think he's dancing someplace else. I put out a whole roadkill deer one time, and 2 coyotes showed up. I named this movie Dominance. As you can see, the alpha dog does not have to worry about getting disturbed by the lesser male, the subordinate. and the subordinate knows his place. He will not go up to that kill till the alpha male has left. The male's still eating, and I put a few pieces in the snow, and he smells them, and he's digging for them now. And when he finds them, he leaves with it. Again, that survival instinct to eat quietly by themselves. Now this one here, I have a deer leg tied to a stake on the ground. Listen to the snap of the teeth when he grabs it now. Listen to this. Wow. You think he lost some teeth? No, he's coming back. He tries it again. Here's an example of a faithful mate. You know, coyotes mate for life. This female has a serious injury on her front, and she probably needs the male's hunting ability to feed her. She can't run anything down with a leg looking like that. This is the one I got a few years ago. Young coyote looking around, and the cameras have no scent. I wipe them down, but yet he'll see it. And what's his first move when he sees the camera? He's out of there. But curiosity. He comes back and looks and doesn't smell anything, so he's a little more at ease. The camera's not moving, but he's still ready. He's ready and looking. I'm not quite sure. He'll be back later, along with a fisher cat. Now this guy, I put some meat in a tunnel and put the camera right next to the meat. It took him a while, but he finally come in, and once he did, he filled his belly. See how quick he snaps the meat? Doesn't like his head being undercover like that. Nothing over his head. So I put it right at the entrance. But he still did put his head under that opening. Okay, this shows you a little bit of the jaw power. I have a bone, a leg bone, I think tied to that small tree there. He wants the leg bone, so he's going to try to take the tree with him. This is just a good angle again of the female leading with her husband for life, always coming in the back, keeping an eye on her back door. It's just a nice angle of capture. This guy's, I named him Slocum because he just doesn't get riled. He's not high-strung like the other coyotes. This is the first time he's had meat put under a rock for him. And you'd think he would be all kinds of nervous. Look at him just lollygagging around and just going to take his time and find the meat and eat it. They have different personalities. He's quite unusual for a coyote. And here's another alpha male. Notice the temperature. A real hot day, and he's just down here to get a drink. But no rush. He walks around like he owns the place. And wait till you see what comes out 10 minutes from now in this same spot. I got really lucky with my placement of the camera here. But we did have a rainstorm 3 days later and my camera was 2 feet underwater. Alright, now here's a submissive one. Look at the piece of meat he's got. But he's so afraid of the boss, the alpha dog, coming. He's got that whole chunk, a whole quarter of a deer. And oh, he wants it bad. But no, he's too afraid. Now this guy likes to dance. This is a great story about dancing coyotes. A great story. I think that's the poker he's doing. And why is he dancing? This is why. There was a roadkill turkey that I tied up in that crotch of the tree, and that's what we have left of it. You can see the 2 turkey legs hanging down. And on one of the videos he actually snaps the leg bone in half. You can hear the crack. But right now he's pulling at it. And something interesting happens now. Look behind him. Another coyote showed up. You should see what happens. Another coyote doesn't seem too concerned right now. Neither is this one. Okay, now you've had some highlights of some of the stories that I've captured on film. And I think they're pretty informative as to the behavior of our most talked about predator, the coyote. And remember, a big coyote around here is probably 45 pounds, 50 pounds, but they are tenacious. And now the ends of the tape is the coyote pups. Hard to capture, very hard to see. They're very seclusive and the mothers take good care of them. Here's one by herself and the noise doesn't bother. And here's that spot where that male was out. Here's a female with 7 pups. Coming right back to that camera that winds up 2 feet underwater. She doesn't like what she sees or hears, and she's going to go check it out. And what do the pups do? They stay close to mom. They don't venture far. They just instinctively know, stay with mom. She's looking around. They come back in about 5 minutes and play in the sand around the camera. And I hope you enjoyed these videos. We're going to end with one that's probably my favorite. I named it A Golden Moment. Again, it involves a young pup who just happens to come out and walk at a perfect time to earn the title A Golden Moment. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.